Okay, so this is the Spring Hill Suites. What's really cool about it is this is actually a bed that you could make up. It's a bigger, really, probably than the size of a twin. And then right under there, you actually have a trundle that you can pull all the way out. So we are in a room that has 2 adults. My mom is with me, and then my son and my nephew. So we have 2 queens, so my mom can sleep on a queen and I can sleep on a queen, and then the boys can each get their own little beds over there. And so there's no bathtub here, it's just a shower, but it is nice and clean, and I think it's a really great deal for this sort of bedding option setup. I also wanted to point out you do have a full-length mirror. You have it's a walk-in closet back there at the back. There is shelving. There's a TV. It's a smart TV, so you can actually plug in all your own accounts and everything. And then right when you walk into the room, you have this little area, kitchenette type thing, where you have your coffee maker, but you also have a microwave and a little mini fridge. I'm assuming that that's actually a beverage cooler and not a fridge, so keep that in mind when you're storing leftovers. Pretty close to the northern end of the national park, about 2 or 3 miles away. So today we just have a little bit of time to go into the park. So we'll be going into the Canal Visitor Center. That visitor center actually has pretty limited hours, and like its namesake, the canal, we're actually going to learn a lot about the canal that used to run through the area that is now the towpath from, I guess, the north to the south of the entire national park. Yesterday, we also were able to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which is a huge draw to the area. It's south of here in Canton, so the boys had a really good time doing that. And we ate at Don Shula's Steakhouse, I think, right there by the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That was a nice dinner. We came back and eventually passed out, and we had a very slow start to today. Another thing that we're doing while we're out here that is a fun activity, especially if you enjoy the outdoor areas, is we are going fishing. We have a fishing trip scheduled for later in the afternoon. So we found a guide and we'll be going out. It's Lake Erie, right? We think it's Lake Erie. But all of these different places all over the country, of course, have different types of fish. So I have a lot of fishermen in my family and fisherwomen. So we are going to see what types of new and different fish we can find out on this lake. The weather is kind of rough right now. We're here in mid-July. There is a lot of rain. Yesterday there was a lot of wind, so I'm a little concerned about actually going out on the lake and what that water experience is going to be like, but it'll be an adventure nevertheless. And we will catch you up on the Canal Visitor Center very shortly. Any sort of video.
So it's everything's improved.
here we are. We are off to day 3. Yesterday we went into Cuyahoga, but we went to the Canal Visitor Center. We talked to a ranger for a while, so that was pretty cool. It was actually a really great visitor center. They had some wonderful displays, and I'll give you some little clips of what that looked like. Today we're gonna go further south into a different visitor center, and hopefully we're gonna see Brandywine Falls, and I think there's like a beaver patch or something about the beavers. So we're gonna go and do that, and then pull up our list and see what other fun adventures we can have in Cuyahoga. So there's a ski area. There's something in the Junior Ranger book about a ski area.
Brandywine Falls.
All right, so it is probably 8:30 or 9 o'clock. We had a long day today. So yesterday we had gone to the Canal Visitor Center at Cuyahoga, and that was really a fantastic visitor center. Even though it is the northernmost visitor center for the park, I really suggest that you go. That's a great one for the kids as well. They have a lot of hands-on displays and everything, and they have a really cool electronic sort of screen that shows how all of the locks worked in that whole canal system. So that one was great. We did that one yesterday. Thank goodness, because it is not open on Monday or Tuesday, and today's Monday. So today we went down to the Boston Visitor Center, the central area of the park. And that visitor center, in terms of activities and hands-on exhibits for the kids, had a little bit less, and it was a much busier area of the park for sure. But that's where we continued on the kids' Junior Ranger program activities. They had to go to the towpath and follow some different clues. It was like a scavenger hunt. So they did that, and it's over by the old Boston store. And that store is now the Conservancy store, which also has a bunch of snacks and ice cream and drinks and also other goodies if you wanted to buy any of them. But we were able to get the boys some ice cream and then sit at a table, and they did a lot of their Junior Ranger work there when we took a break from the scavenger hunt. And we walked down the towpath quite a ways. We probably should have continued it all the way down to Brandywine Falls, but we came back and we decided to go to the Beaver Marsh. The ranger had suggested that, so that was really cool. We actually didn't see any beavers in the Beaver Marsh, and it is a little bit tricky to figure out where the exact parking is to see the Beaver Marsh. So we were driving around the area, and there is another road that runs parallel to the main park road that is on the opposite side of the Beaver Marsh. The Beaver Marsh is sort of sandwiched between the two, but on that other road that runs parallel, that is, I don't even know if it's within the park boundaries, but it's a small road. I mean, the speed limit's probably like 30, 35 miles an hour. You go down and you can see the river, and there are a lot of beaver dams, like big beaver dams in that river. And while we were driving down that road, a beaver actually came out and was sort of on the side of the road and looked at us, and then turned around and went back towards the river with the dams and everything. So we did get to see a beaver because we were on the wrong road, but we also got to see the beaver dams. And honestly, I think that was a lot more exciting than the Beaver Marsh itself. Now, the marsh has a lot of flora that we didn't see on the river where we had seen all of the dams, so that was cool. We also saw, a lot of lily pads, and we saw a big turtle that was under the water. It was very, very big, and we didn't see it come up over the water. We could see the top of its shell just beneath the water's surface. So we did see that. And we saw some additional locks because that is right there off the towpath. And then we went back and we actually saw Brandywine Falls. And it's sort of a cool boardwalk that snakes through a little bit of the forest area. It's very overgrown with the greenery coming down off of the trees, and the boardwalk is all beautifully shaded, and then you come up on the falls and you can go down. There are different steps to go down and to see the falls from different levels. There's a bathroom out there as well, and you don't have to go far. So if you are short on time or energy, or if you have differently able people in your party, then you can certainly go. It's got to be like 1/10 of a mile. So it's very easy to see Brandywine Falls. It was the biggest waterfall my nephew said he had ever seen, so that was pretty cool. We went back to the ranger station, and of course they swore in the boys, and each of them earned their junior ranger badges, so that was a big moment. And then we headed out. The boys had done a lot of really focused educational activity, even though it included a lot of movement, which is really the best way to do it. I really enjoyed this ranger program here at Cuyahoga because they had this scavenger hunt element to it that required a certain amount of hiking, really, to go along this towpath up and down, to see different things, to find different things, to detect different clues. So it was a really cool junior ranger program. There are a lot of pages in the book that they were expected to complete. The rangers did not intensely quiz them about their answers, but she did engage them, which was great. And it was a great junior ranger program. So then we decided to spend a little bit of time over at Topgolf here in Cleveland. I wanted to take them to that Play Cleveland, and it is this cool indoor park, I guess, where there are zip lines and high ropes courses, but that was also closed today. We seem to be here not the best time, not the best days of the week, even though it is sort of peak tourist season. So that's something you have to be very careful with when you do plan your trip up to Cleveland. There are a lot of activities that don't really happen on Monday and Tuesday. A lot of places are closed. In fact, the train at Cuyahoga is actually closed, I think, Monday and Tuesday. And I'll have some clarification on that when I have my accompanying blog post. But a lot of things are closed here at the beginning of the week. So trying to find another activity where they could sort of wind down, but also be physical and active as they kind of want to be. We went to Topgolf. We didn't have to wait at all. We went directly to a bay, and they had a really fun time playing golf. Tomorrow we're gonna head out to Cedar Point. Good morning. This is the morning that we are taking the kids out to Cedar Point. So they are downstairs. There is a full American breakfast today at this hotel. So the boys basically have all you can eat bacon, and when you have two teenage boys, that is a godsend. So I'm excited that they are down there eating. I'm excited that I am up here where it's quiet for a few minutes of my day, the only few minutes probably. I wanted to share with you some of our trip planning stuff that we have going on. Of course, I woke up this morning. This morning is the beginning of the Xanterra Christmas in July sale. I am seeing rates at the Inn at Death Valley, which is one of my favorite places to stay, as low as about $330 per night. All right, we made it to Cedar Point. So much here in Cleveland, so many activities, so many ways to enjoy Cuyahoga, to incorporate it into a longer trip. You could really stay a week here in this area, and there is so much to do between Pro Football Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, First Ladies Library, and that is run by the NPS. If you do Cuyahoga, certainly you could spend a day hopping on and off the train. It would be fantastic to rent bicycles and to bicycle up and down that tow path for the length of the park. And then of course you want to make time to get to all the different visitor centers. There are also a lot of historic sites within the park as well. There is Cedar Point, which is very close. We did our fishing trip out on Lake Erie and caught walleye trout. So a fishing trip is a great option as well. I didn't realize Niagara Falls was so close. It's only 3.5 hours away. And then I think Cooperstown is maybe not so far from Niagara Falls. Cleveland is a great option for just a fun indoor activity. I like to always have a list of activities in case of bad weather. I was really blown away. I am certain that we will be back again another time, and I'll look forward to doing some of those other activities in the park that I didn't get a chance to do on this trip. You can really have a full and wonderful experience here in the Cleveland area in the summer, and Cuyahoga can definitely be a very large part of a full week's trip.